Hey everybody, good morning from Doha, Qatar. I am at this point flying all the way across the world, have a massive ass layover, so wanted to get on a live, connect with you guys and talk about something that I've been seeing a lot. This is something I've been teaching for years, but something I've been seeing a lot in my own life, and that's how regulation, specifically nervous system regulation, grounding, understanding, and seeing through your trauma, seeing through your wounds can actually save your relationships. Now, I'm talking about any kind of relationship. I came back home to India for Christmas to be able to be with my family, and I know I have a long-standing wound with my eldest sister. And we would trigger each other constantly based on what we perceived each other's lives to be, how each of us got like our parents' attention, etc. And what I noticed this time was my sister, I've been practicing regulation as well, but my sister started practicing regulation, grounding, being able to like recognize how she's showing up, being able to recognize where her trauma is showing up, her conditioning showing up. And when we get into discussion earlier, when we would converse about certain things, about hey, listen, this makes me feel uncomfortable, etc., I'm noticing she's not internalizing things as much. And what I noticed through her not doing that is that I'm not internalizing what she's saying as much either. Now, take this and apply this to any of your own relationships, right? Your partnerships. Take it and apply it to your relationships with your kids, maybe your relationships with your parents. One of the most important things we don't actually understand is that our emotions are actually derived as an expression of a nervous system response. Now, why is this important? A lot of people are like, well, okay, what does that even mean to me? That means that if your nervous system, or whatever the state that your nervous system is in, you will naturally find a response more naturally from that state. So, take for example, if your nervous system is dysregulated, which means that if you're really heightened, if you're anxious, maybe you're stressed out at fucking work, maybe you haven't been sleeping enough, maybe your immune system is low, maybe you even got COVID, maybe anything happened. So your nervous system is already fighting a lot of things, it's already like dysregulated and challenged. Then if you get into a conversation with your partner, and your partner simply says, I'm not going to be able to show up for XYZ, or maybe your partner is trying to like project some of his own stuff or her own stuff onto you, your ability to hold space for it will be much lower than if you were in a regulated place. Which also means that if they're saying something to you about what they're going through, a pain that they're hurting from, maybe a challenge that they're working through, you will internalize it. Because your nervous system right now is so dysregulated that it's itching for a reason to get heightened, because it needs to release. So it's itching for a reason to take something personally, it's itching for a reason to internalize, it's itching for a reason to get dysregulated, to get challenged. So most likely than not, if your partner was to say something, if your child was to say something, you'll throw it back onto them. You'll yell back at them, you'll maybe get triggered by what they're saying, you'll internalize, you'll go into your own coping mechanisms, whether if that's for an anxious attachment to fight, or even to fawn and try and please them, or if that is for an avoidant, your coping mechanism will be to run away. So your nervous system will be so dysregulated, you feel like you can't handle confrontation. For an avoidant, you'll run away. Now, how many of you have been in relationships where even if you were to evaluate your partner's nervous system, right? And when you get into conflict, how many of you have noticed that your partners will tend to run away from conflict? They will like either sit back, and then the more that it happens, the more they want to just avoid it. How many of you notice that maybe your partner wants to fight you on whatever you're saying? How many have noticed that whenever you say something to your partner, they completely invalidate it and they're trying to please you with something else? This all happens because we don't have a strong state of grounding. Now, the best way to work through your nervous system regulation, of course, is actually going back to the wound and healing the core wound, healing where, the problem of what's drastically like creating your anxieties, creating your dysregulating, where that's really coming from. That's a longer scale journey. So now you may be asking me, well, Yats, how the fuck do I regulate my nervous system on a shorter term? Two things. Breathwork is the number one way naturally to be able to regulate your nervous system. And the second part is an extension of breathwork, which is meditation. So what breathwork does first, and this is a really interesting fact I'm going to tell all you guys, a lot of your stress receptors, and people don't realize this, are actually tied into your lungs. So the top part of your lungs, they notice, and they have a lot to do with your parasympathetic system, or with your sympathetic system. So your nervous system on the top is to deal a lot with your stress hormones, your fight and flight. Sorry, excuse the announcements, I'm at the airport, as you can imagine. The lower part of your lungs, which is where your belly breathes from, your diaphragm breathes from, that has to do a lot with your calming system, the system that relaxes you and grounds you. So when you practice breath work, when you get anxious or you get like worried or you get tense, where are you breathing from? Just notice, you're breathing from the chest and you have short breaths, right? You're like, now when you're calm and you're easy and you're grounded, you're sitting watching TV or you're feeling really relaxed, you're playing with your kids and you just feel so much joy, where are you breathing from? Deep into your stomach, because that's what the calming system for your body. Now there's two ways. So the central nervous system operates from like the brain, the spinal cord, and into your body. You can actually fool that nervous system. So you can basically control that nervous system. You can fool the nervous system by working through your lungs to tell your nervous system that I am not in a place of stress. So instead of letting your brain tell your body that I'm in a place of stress, you use your body to tell your brain that I'm not in a place of stress, which is why healthcare practices today have become massive, which is why self-care practices have become massive, why baths have become massive, why ice baths have become massive, why hot salt baths are massive, why massages are massive. Think about it. Because psychosomatically, and this is one of my favorite topics, psychosomatics, you are now using your body to tell your mind what it should feel, and not the opposite way around. Now, a lot of us, especially because of the amount of stimulation we receive through social media, through work, we're always using our brains to stay hyper-stimulated. While you may think that's a great thing, that's a fucking brutal thing for the brain. The brain actually is not meant to live in a perpetual beta state, which is like very heightened waves. It's meant to slip into alpha. When you sleep, it's meant to slip into theta and to delta, so that it slows down, absorbs information, calms you down, secretes growth hormones, secretes the hormones for like relaxation, for all of those things. So when you actually use your body to be able to create a feeling of relaxation and to be able to create a feeling of telling your mind that you are in a place of feeling relaxed. Now you do that through breath work primarily. Your mind starts to say, oh shit, I'm so sorry, I totally forgot that you are actually feeling relaxed right now. So I'm actually going to now reduce the stress hormones. So all the cortisol and the adrenaline that's going through your body normally, I'm actually going to reduce them now. And I'm actually going to secrete more of, the endorphins, things to make you feel better, maybe the serotonin, things to make you feel more calm. That's how you use your body to fool your mind. Now think about using the same strategy when you're in a moment of feeling really dysregulated, in conflict with your partner, with the workplace, etc. Now, right when you're talking to your partner, you're not going to be able to say, hold on a second, that's not really going to work, right? So the principle of breath work is such that you have to do it continuously, even if it's for 3 to 5 minutes every day. So what you're doing now for yourself is you're creating a healthy platform. So science actually shows that if you commit to breath work on a continuous, regular basis, you increase your tolerance for stress, which now means that you are not only more capable to handle stress, you also react less to stress. So every day if you practice that a little bit, it means subconsciously you're actually working in your fucking relationships, even though all you're doing is just breathing for yourself. Because any relationship is always a reflection of how you show up in the relationship. I've heard people say a relationship is like you are 50% of the problem, 100% of the solution. Absolutely, because you can only do what you can do and participate in the solution. But it's also, a relationship is a reflection of what you attract and also what you're feeling, including the partner, what the partner does, situations you're in. This is all really complex, like attachment theory stuff. But on the surface, if you work on your own breath work, you are able to so easily hold space for your partner, not react or not internalize, which is one of the biggest fucking things, because everybody tends to internalize and take things personally. That's a concept of neuroception, something I'll explain later on. But it's about how we process our image based on how someone treats us. So if someone's just basically just giving us information about themselves, we still get really triggered because we're making it think and mean it's something about us. But regulation takes that away. Now the second part of breath work, or the second part of what I was talking about with regulation, is meditation. Now meditation can be of various different sorts. It's basically using breath work to get into a place where you're naturally slowing down your brain waves. I don't know if any of you follow Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's amazing. I put out like a few stories about Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he talked about how trauma lives in different brainwave states, but it's only accessible and healable if it gets into the slower brainwave states, which is basically the deeper brainwave states. Now, how the fuck do you access those deeper brainwave states? By deep meditation. So how do you get into a meditative state? By breathing. If you've gone for any meditation class, what do they start with? They don't just say, okay, put your feet up. Okay, are you ready? Jump in. This is how we're going. How do you feel now? You must be feeling relaxed and easy. No, they say, take a few easy breaths. Slow down your inhalation. Slow down your exhalation. Listen to your body. Naturally tune into the soma aspect, which is the body, the physical aspect of what your experience is. Now, once you start doing that, you're naturally already telling yourself, I'm not going to prioritize what's going on like in the rest of my day, all the fucking monkey shit in my head, the stress from work, all of that other bullshit. I'm in the present moment right now. So after you use your breathwork practices just on your own, whether you use a guided meditation from YouTube, that's one of the best things that I used to use before. I have a whole bunch of guided meditations that are on my YouTube channel right now. You can just search the inner yats, and they're all inner child meditations primarily. So they're deep meditations that take you back to trauma spaces for healing. But what you can also do is just use a simple YouTube meditation for like relaxation, for like peace, for grounding, etc. They will allow you to naturally step into deeper and deeper recesses of your mind. Now, when you go on, this is the gold nugget right here. And then I'm gonna have to bounce because otherwise I'm gonna miss my flight. But when you actually get into a deep brainwave state, which is it's funny to think everybody says that the brain is meant to be hyperproductive all the time. That's not true. The brain is only meant to be hyperproductive for a short period of time because it's meant to be hyper-absorptive. It's meant to absorb things, not always create things. And the only way you can really absorb things is when you're not hyper-stimulated. In the beta state, which is when we're awake, we're not really absorbing as much as we're trying to be proactive about doing things. So when you slip into a deeper brainwave state, you're accessing your subconscious. When you access your subconscious, you're actually accessing so much of your past. You're actually accessing a lot of your trauma. You're accessing a lot of your memories. You're accessing, more than anything, the emotions that are associated with your memories. So when your partner says something to you and immediately break down into crying and you don't really know why, when you get into your subconscious, you're actually able to access that memory associated with that pain. And then you're like, holy fuck, this is what I felt when I was a kid. This is what I felt when I was younger, and this is where that pain comes from. Oh my God, my previous relationship invalidated me so much that trauma has like literally placed itself on my heart, so that when someone rejects me right now, immediately I'm fucking blowing like a lid. And this is so magnificent when you're in a slow brainwave state, that you're able to access this trauma, because in this state you're able to access healing. You're able to now step into this place where you witness what has happened to you. And if you're in a safe space while doing it, if you've meditated, if you've regulated your breath work, if you've grounded yourself, your body's feeling stable to be able to hold you and hold space for you while you're journeying through that like witnessing, you're able to in that moment say, okay, this was my past. And this was an important part of my past that created a lot of emotions, memories, and pain. But today, I want to apply a balm, a soothing balm of healing over this. I want to be able to see that person in that past. I want to be able to see that child in that past who felt that pain. And if nobody else showed up, I want to show up for that child. I want to hold them, I want to lift them, I want to hug them, I want to care for them. I want to show them they're important. And when you start doing that, your subconscious mind, because it doesn't know the difference now, right? You've slowed down your brain so much. The brain, as intelligent as it is, can be fooled through the right methods, especially through the body. So breath work, slowing down brain waves, you've gone to this place. The brain is now saying, oh, are you here to be able to heal some of that past trauma? Are you here to be able to soothe some of that past pain? And you're like, yes, that's what I'm doing. And the brain's like, okay, let's do it. And as you start doing that, in that moment, you will notice in the present, you show up at least 500 to 600%, which is basically 5 to 6 times better than you ever have before. Trust me, this is the entire basis of reparenting, is showing up for the past versions of ourselves that were hurt with the right parenting principles, with the right person to love us and show up for us, and we're doing that on our own. And what that does is, in the present moment, where you may be thinking, okay, no one's really holding me in their lap, loving me, caring for me, and none of that, but in the present moment you're receiving that love, and it's showing up for you in an area where you feel most safe, You feel more secure, you feel more grounded, you're not internalizing, you're not going to take any of this shit personally that your partner's saying to you. Not just that, you can hold space for your partner. So at this point, not only are you becoming a better individual, you're becoming a better partner, because you can now understand where their shit's coming from. You can hold space for them, you don't take that personally. You may even be able to reflect back to them and be able to show them and give them anything that they may need in that moment, which maybe before they were like, wow, I didn't even know you were capable of that, because every time we had a discussion, you either ran away, you got really triggered, or any of those things happened. So breath work and regulation, I cannot tell you how powerful they are. They have, I'm not even joking about this, guys. Like, I was talking to some of the air hostesses and hosts on my last flight. They were asking me, we were just having a conversation, they asked me how I did what I did, and I said, really, what taught me to do what I do is fucking trauma. It's the pain that'll rock me on my ass, and I said, I need to find ways to be able to work with it. I didn't tell myself, wake up one day and say, I want to be the greatest fucking leader standing on top of the mountain and tell everybody to heal. All I wanted to do was to be able to work on my own healing. And I learned so many of the methods that were like, okay, how can I do it? How can I get to it? How can I work on it? And once I started doing this consistently, I've been doing breath work for 5 years now, every single fucking morning, except Saturday and Sunday, because I tend to like wake up nice and late and like, you know, do something else. But even then sometimes, because it's so important for my body, my mind, and my soul to be able to like just work through the shit I've gone through. It's not to make me a superior human being, it's just to make me the best version of me that I can be. And so if you practice that, my request to you is not for you to practice it to like be some person who like stands on top of the mountain and says, I'm going to save the planet. It's just for you to be the best version of you. We don't really understand this because no one in our fucking lives tells us, but every one of us is actually unique. This is not some like speech that you're going to throw on a billboard and say, you're special and you're special and you're special. But the truth is you're unique. Whether you're special or not, you decide. You decide what that uniqueness means to you. Now, the problem is in our childhood, that uniqueness was suppressed. That uniqueness had to fit in a cultural norm. That uniqueness had to be a part of somebody else's trauma. So your parents suppressed that uniqueness. They try to make you more like them. They try to treat you how they were probably treated, or the opposite. They worked with what their shit was and unconsciously put it onto you. Now your uniqueness at this point, your magic for yourself gets suppressed. How the fuck do you bring it back? Because each of us was created unique. So how do we bring that uniqueness back? By going inwards, by grounding ourselves, by regulating, by discovering the self, by healing the trauma, by going inside and saying, I am special and I want to work on me for me. I don't want to work on me so that my partner gets a better version of me. I don't want to work on me so my child gets a better version of me. Those are amazing benefits. But the point of it is to have to work on it for you so that you can get the best version of you. Because if you live a good day and a good life every day, then the way you're going to show up for everybody around you is going to be so motherfucking special. Truth. So, with that, I'm going to have to bounce. I'm going to have to take a long-ass flight. You guys can all guess where I'm flying to. I'm a globetrotter. Not going to tell you. Throw it in the comments if you'd like to guess wherever I'm off to. But I love you all. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for showing up wherever you are around the world. I'm very grateful to you guys. And, before I forget, my team wanted me to say this as well. The newest gauntlet that we're running is going to be, the time zones are catered to a lot of like our night shift workers, a lot of our healthcare workers, and a lot of our internationals who we haven't always had the opportunity to work with. So it's going to be in the afternoons. Click on the link to get more information about time and to be able to book a call, to be able to talk to our team members, because we really would love to be able to help and work with everybody. And so for the first time, we're trying to be flexible within our own team and system to be able to stretch it across and work with people all over the place. We've had people from Oman sign up, which is so fucking exciting. Normally we just have North America and a lot of maybe Canada at best. But now we have Europe, we have Oman with these open time zones. And if a lot of you are working in the night, which I know a lot of you are, a lot of nurses, hardworking, I could never do it, but you guys are doing it, and so we want to be able to hold space for you and provide you that. So in the afternoons is when we're going to start doing our sessions, and in the morning on the West Coast. So just click the link in the bio or read any of my news posts. They'll tell you about the time that we're running it. With that, I love you guys. Take care. Send you much joy and much love. Look at this dude. Look at him just like doing his little speedy thing. He literally just inched past my foot. What an expert. Anyway, love you guys. Stay grounded and regulated. Keep those practices of at least 3 minutes to 5 minutes in a day. And you can do it in YouTube meditations, you can do it in meditations that I put on, you can do it in meditations that anybody fucking puts on, as long as they're good for you. Alright? Love you guys, take care, and I hope you have a beautiful day, night, I don't know, wherever you are. Because it's day for me, it's probably night for you guys. See you guys. Love you lots. Bye.